Hi everyone, I am Adam from Trade with Precision. Let's have a look at what is coming up in the markets this week. So first of all, with euro dollar on the daily, we have a very nice uptrend here, bouncing above the moving averages and a nice strong finish on Friday. And so the likelihood of this now breaking to the upside becomes stronger, hinting at a weaker US dollar. If we have a look at dollar yen, you can see it's also been struggling in this area for quite a while, testing a level of support. It is not that inconceivable that we could see a break lower this week, and that would also support the idea of a weaker US dollar. If we move across and have a look at gold, it is still very much range bound. All right, so that means it has no clear direction. It has been trying to go a little bit higher, but it's got knocked back down the last few days this week. Also in a downtrend now, breaking with lower highs, lower lows. It is range bound, so no longer term direction sort of readily apparent when we have a look at this. Silver itself as well, also struggling. So we had a nice little uptrend here. Prices pushed down. It's a little bit more bullish than gold, but it is also taking a little bit of a hit this last week. If we have a look at crude oil, we are generally heading lower. If we look at the bigger picture, we look at the monthly, we can see a series of lower highs and lower lows, and also breaking through a key level of support, now coming back up to test that for potential resistance. So again, that general momentum is more bearish than bullish, but the trend, the quality of that trend is not very good. However, having said that, we've got to now have a nice little bearish candle that is testing resistance in this area and forming against the moving averages, and we have the 50, the 20, and 10 in a bearish formation, as well as bearish momentum on the indicators, hinting at potential downside if we break the low of Friday's candle. If we have a look now at the S&P, so on the weekly, we did finish high. It's a nice little pullback into the moving averages, breaking higher, but when we have a look at it from a daily perspective, we're starting to see a bit of bearish divergence creeping in, meaning that, especially if we just zoom out a bit here, you can see that although we are getting fresh highs, we struggled and encountered a little bit of resistance there at around about 6,470. And it's likely that we'll see, combined with this bearish divergence, there is a very fair possibility that we could see a bit of a correction this week, just coming in back down into those moving averages. And actually very similar when we have a look at the NASDAQ, we could see here again, there's already a bit of a retracement started, some bearish divergence, just hinting at the fact that we could see a deeper pullback this week. Let's also include and have a look at the Russell 2000. Excuse me, if we just zoom out here, you can see that overall, it is actually particularly bullish. So generally speaking, the markets are bullish, but we could see a little bit of a pullback this week. We'll see if we ultimately finish higher, but my expectation is at least initially to see a pullback. Then I want to just introduce you all to the Hang Seng. So let's start including a look at the some of the Asian indices as well. And the one I want to show you, introduce you to here is the Hang Seng, which has actually been one of the slowest to kind of come around. It's actually been in a downtrend since 2017, finally started to double bottom around 2023, and has been in a brand new uptrend ever since. It's been breaking through some key resistance levels, trending higher. It's not as smooth trending as some of the others, but it definitely has a nice uptrend, and so this is looking particularly bullish. We've also got somewhat of a double top that has formed this last week, so we might see a deeper correction there. But just saying here that if one of the sort of lagging indices globally has started to turn bullish, that is a potentially good sign for the medium term. Let's have a look at Tesla. So Tesla did appear to break out to the upside and then came back down within this wedge. So we'll see whether that is a fake out or not. Again, in situations like this, if it is an attempted breakout and a failed breakout, it'll almost immediately after that come and break down to the downside. So in other words, it will test the highs and lows to see which way has more buyers or more sellers. So for now, I expect to see if there's a bit of a follow this coming week. NVIDIA as well, running very smoothly from a weekly perspective. At some point, though, I do expect us to have a bit of a deeper correction. Now, we again, also similar to some of the indices, we've started to encounter some resistance here. We've got some bearish divergence. And so it wouldn't surprise me if we did break the low here and have a little bit of a correction. Overdue, just letting some of that buying pressure off. Let's wrap up with a bit of crypto. So Bitcoin here just encountering some strong resistance around about that 120,000 level, finishing with a bit of a rejection candle as I'm recording this. And again, overall the trend is bullish, but even in an uptrend, we must have our retracements, and we could find that we have a little bit of a correction here. So let's call it a double top if you want. Let's just move this up. A little bit of a double top there, around about actually closer to 123,000 with some bearish divergence. So again, wouldn't surprise me if we did have a bit of a correction down towards these lows. So there we go. Plenty to take into account. Possible weaker dollar coming up. Markets might have a little bit of a correction, a little bit of a small correction. Nothing too big at this time. Gold still undecided which way it wants to go. And of course, we could even see some of crude oil heading a bit lower. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you.